коллеги.
Dear colleagues, good morning everyone. Big thanks to all of you who came here this morning. Especially big thanks to those who came in time, because it's the first session of the second or the third day is always poses a huge challenge, so not always follows strict timing and rules of discipline. So a small request from the organizers, please, if possible, switch your mobile phones to silent so that there is no sound. There are no sounds in our recording that don't belong there. Today we have a very complex topic that's even difficult to discuss. Messages and bank tools in them, solutions to solve emergent tasks. It's no secret for anyone that evolution of service channels happens constantly in banks in general. I don't see children here, but many people remember how the main service channels were branch offices, and to solve any question, to even do any kind of payment, we need to do this. So then call centers started to quickly develop. Then we have internet banking. Then we have mobile bank. Mobile bank is where our country achieved significant results. In the emergence of mobile banking and internet banking, penetration exceeds 70%, and the market leaders in terms of frequency of use of mobile banking, the DAO to MAU ratio exceeds 50%. It's something that characterizes the world's best fintech companies. It's not only a matter of retail and small and medium businesses and corporate banking. Applications and use for mobile banks keeps growing, so 90% of payments, MSB, are processed through mobile banking. It's an amazing, incredible result. So all of we're all bankers and people that take interest. Everyone always asks the question: what happens next? Is there any life beyond mobile bank? And on the one hand, it's clear that mobile phone is form factor of content use. They don't go anywhere in the coming years. Following the assessment of various experts, the mobile phone will continue to remain the main channel for content consumption, but we still would like to find some alternative factors, and the trend of many recent years is of course embedded finance. Experts say that up to 1 trillion USD in turnover will come through embedded finance up to 2024, 2025, and one of the channels that we would like to embed finance and payments and in general these tools are the messengers, because in general now 4 hours daily we spend online, and we spend our time online and messengers and social networks, and of course bank want to end up there, and they attempt to do so. Moreover, messengers are not just the content consumption channels. Just only in our country, 33% of the population consumes the news daily from messengers, from Telegram. It's a very large channel for them, and of course some of these attempts were made by players who are also present here today with us, and such attempts at solving these issues are done in the world. You know the Chinese experience of WeChat. It's not only China, also in Korea there is this bank, that Kakao Bank, that just appeared out of a messenger and then it became a bank and developed. So the question is open, whether it's possible or not, whether it's the future or not. At the same time, of course, now you were all at the plenary session, I think yesterday, the first one. We have some favorable winds that blow the sails, that allow us to optimize and simplify communication in messengers and to optimize it. So today we have a unique opportunity to find out how promising is this, what is possible, what is impossible. Today we have an amazing group of people with us who are able to answer this question to us. Please allow me to introduce our guests: Alexander Chernoshchyokin, Senior President, Head of Large and Medium Business at Sberbank; Batullin, Chief President and Head of Development of Digital Channels of Alfa-Bank; Mikhail Popov, Founder and CEO of Talkbank; Anton, Head of Development of Business and VK Messenger; Ksenia, Head of Division in Sberbank Online and Deputy CEO working with key customers of CSS. Today we have banks present with us who are active messengers. We have tech companies who give the platforms to bank. We have vendors, and we also have people who haven't yet, who are not yet in the messengers. And first of all, Alexander, allow me to give the word to you. First of all, big thanks for organizing this amazing roundtable. PSB Bank followed a non-standard route. You didn't just launch a bank in the messenger. You decided to solve this question. You did it for MSB. Why? Why so? Why this choice? What were you able to do? And what you were unable to do? What was the benefit that you got for the bank messenger and among the clients? And same goes for your customers. Can you please tell us more about this? Of course, we went there with a non-standard route there because, as a rule, all banks start from retail as usual. We have to base ourselves on our strong sides. What can we do first of all? Because by then we were able to do things quite good with digitalization in MSB, and we have technologies and platforms that allow us to produce various experiments. What is the most important thing to and the part of people here present here will be surprised. We had profits that we were able to spend at various venture investments. It was nice when you are able to make these huge profits and you're able to spend on speakers, on messengers, on quantum technologies. When it's not there, you can just select the technology that will, for sure, be profitable, will bring you these profits. At MSB, everything was nice. We made huge profits, so we decided to try. Of course, we had this idea that came from where we all regularly do transactions and transfers through mobile applications of various banks at the same time. Before, we talked to each other through some messengers or WhatsApps, okay, send me 1,000, send me 2,000, send me something. So this scenario, when in one application they wrote you, send me some money, you go to another application to do the transaction, it breaks your customer journey, and it's quite sensible that this transaction separation had to be subjected to digitalization and transfer to the contact point that is there between the clients. And we've taken a look at how it happens among individual entrepreneurs, among small and medium businesses, and we see that they exchange invoices, perform invoices between them, acts and other documents directly in messengers. So they send these documents to each other in Telegram and WhatsApp, and wow, that's cool. Now let's try to do an OSR. Let's try to make a payment for this document, and let's try to send it to the customers for sale in messengers. And 2 years ago, or 18 months ago, we started to do it in testing mode, and customers told us, okay, let us do a full scale bank and messenger, and let's do it in Messenger. Let's do it from Story, that we have the templates and everything else, and let's also introduce a virtual messenger there. Okay, it's interesting. Let's try to do so. Second very important thing was what you said, when the customer most often use a small number of applications throughout the day, but they use them on a daily basis. They open up Telegram, they open up browser, someone opens up contact room, but still they go there on a regular basis, several times a day. In banking application, they go there when needed. So we need to be where the customers are, we need to be where the clients are, and it was the second factor for us. That's why we chose Telegram to do our application as a place where customers go daily, which they use to read the news. Telegram became second type of internet, and in general, after we did it all, we've understood that it's comfortable for the first customers, and from LTV point of view, it's better. The customer loyalty is better. The customer losses in this channel were less than in our regular one in the application. And then, as we all know, regulator intervened, so we yesterday heard that there will be less intervention from their side, but starting from New Year, we can only use domestic messengers for financial operations on the one hand, it limits our opportunities because now we're strongly dependent on our colleagues from Kontakt and other startups that have to make such a popular messenger for themselves. So from the point of view of content consumption and financial operations and news, and it was also very reliable. And we also faced in February 29th, in February of 22, the blocking of applications in App Store and Google. At the same time, the channel that worked in bank messengers, it continued to work. It continued to use these operations, and everything went fine. Everything went well, and the risks connected to it, they have to be taken into account. And we also need to be able to see the competition so that we could experiment with them. And the second part of what we experiment with are smart speakers. We have Elisa on our stand that has our embedded assistant for small businesses that can be used to do transactions, to do some things. But it's also an experiment because from the point of view of communication between banks and clients, we see that the picture will change. We all are used to consuming content from applications, and as soon as we have generative AI, which we'll put in our great hopes, and when we heard the latest news that now it has language models working in both sides, and of course we have the language of communication between between a machine and man. So we continue to experiment in this. It's clear that experiments will lead to nothing, and it's clear that until it becomes important to us, and what we know for sure is that we cannot avoid trying, and to make some money you need to bring your investment to various places and see which of them will be there, which of them will bring you money. So the development of these new channels is one of our kind of our venture investments, and we hope that it will bring its returns. Very well, thank you very much. And what's the most important thing? Are the clients, are they happy? How actively they use these features? Key feature for MSP is payments from your history, so they take a look at what payments did you conduct, and then we just repeat them. The second story is OCR of recognition of the text that the customer sent. We also had a decline in activity when we had a shift from Telegram to Kontakte because the channels are different, the audience might fluctuate. But as already has been said here, from the loyalty point of view, here the loyalty in these channels is higher. Second is regarding the frequency of use. It very often does not exceed 1%, 2%, 3% from our customer base, but the number of customers keeps growing, the number of payments and transactions keeps also growing. And I repeat myself, the most important thing is that you have contact with your customer throughout several times a day, and they see you, they come to you, you need to open up you don't need to open up the application. So the DAO is higher in this channel than in other banking applications. Very well, thank you very much. Of course, yesterday when I came to your stand and to smart speakers and to send payments, and I understood that the level of human laziness that we are reaching that knows no limit. Damir, and you follow different path, and I see your zinc when we come to VK. It welcomes me, but I don't see, for example, Zin in Alfa-Bank when we turn on, and when we identify quite actively the presence. It's one of the leaders on the retail market. Please tell us more about your path. What role does VK Messenger, Bank Messenger plays in Alfa-Bank? What are the prospects for development? What is the experiment? What is the experience that you can share with the colleagues? Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, Ilya, for your question. For the last 7 to 8 years, banks try to go on the messengers through various means. It can be quite a challenging task because messengers are used to solve communication tasks with customers, and in Russia it's especially hard to do because besides the messengers in Russia it's quite we see the internet banks and other banks quite developed, and you can solve any question easily, comfortably. You can do it with no efforts. We're world leaders in we're leaders in digital interaction and in bank, and we're doing this on a systemic level. We continue to work with messengers, and in Alfa-Bank at the beginning of the year 2020, we had an in-house startup opened up that started to implement on doing financial services, providing financial services in messengers. Initially, it were some polling and query services for credit cards, for deliveries that were embedded optimistic, and we increased the conversion level. But 2021 became a breakthrough year for us. We've had three factors working for us. Factor number one, our in-house startup that on a systemic level transformed in a very powerful digital platform. We call it X platform. We named it ahead of Elon Musk, so we have Elon Musk, and it allows us to implement financial services on any platforms of our partners, mobile applications and websites, in web applications, and we do it through API. We do it through any banking service. And the second thing are the external factors, the limitations that Alexander told us about. We solve questions and matters of providing not the full-scale banking service, because we learned how to solve this task. We distributed it through mobile applications and any possible means. We have a super developed Alpha Online in mobile version that is considered to be one of the best, if not the best, and in this regard we were able to solve the problem. But the matter of communication, of push notifications, we communicate with customers a lot. It remains very relevant, and where we communicate with the customers, we do so. It was the second challenge, and of course the third one, where we have to pay our dues to Telegram first. In 2021, 2022, they trained us to learn channels. We all have a crazy number of Telegram channels through which we get our content, where we not only interact with each other, but we also get information. And also through since April 2022, we had some technological changes that allowed us to improve the customer's experience. The so-called WebSocket, where in Telegram you can find and implement any service in Telegram. And of course, in November 2022, we were able to increase our first DOA in Telegram. For limited audience, it was 35,000 customers. We approached this project as careful as possible. So we did emotional design. So the cat lives now not only in VK, but it also is outside VK. So it's a very popular character that's used in advertising campaigns, and it's very popular in China and other Asian countries, so it's already abroad. We see that customers love receiving notifications. We can use various different patterns, emotions in Telegram, and conversions were really high. We've seen and understood that we need to go there, we need to work in Telegram. We've struggled for this with Alexander, but we think that in December what started was the projects with VK, and here we need to pay our dues to VK team. In 3 months, all this volume of technologies that we worked on and the solutions that was in Telegram, we implemented on VK. It was incredible. VK is in a very high-tech team, highly motivated, and on April 12th, we chose this date on purpose, so understand that it's the first bank VK. We've launched our second thing, and for the second month consecutively, we have 680,000 authorized users in ZIN. So these are the customers that are motivated and that already went through this two-factor authorization, that have this banking ID, and who have more than 5 million. We have more than 5 million communications monthly. We have a growing number of users, approximate, and also at the same time, you see, we don't force our solution. Very caringly, very harmonically, we try to work on this channel. These are impressive figures. We don't put in there all the volume of our financial and digital services. We've decided to give only what's close there. So these are all the transactions, mobile transactions with card numbers. Second is the opportunity to pay through QR. Natively, we've implemented this. We've also brought in web cameras, a very interesting functionality that allows us to pay for telecommunication. It's everything that's related to this and everything cashback related. So to see what are the categories there, to do the cashback, what are to see the super popular features, what are those, and we did it to Zin. And we also have two very interesting services. First is the referral program that in DK you find your friend, you find the contact list, and at the same time, it's a new thing that we've only launched yesterday, the red envelopes. It's so that it's very comfortable and easy to send messages and send money through messengers. We decided how to do it not only simple and easy, but also through this, and also we understood how to scale it better, the logic, so that we send the money where you send money to anyone from your contact list, and also to recipient and senders from Alfa-Bank, you can offer to do such. There is a price. So yesterday I've sent this money and it doubled. I also want some stickers. Why didn't you send this? Why did you send it to me? It'd be better for me. Well, it was a different question, and we can exchange red envelopes. We see that the service is growing, service is popular. We see that the thing is developing, and secondly, the most important thing that we were trying to solve is the question of security. We tried to decide how safe it is. So in 10 months, we had not a single case. Alpha and VK are very serious about their safety and security. So using this platform, I would like to address all the banks, and it might be counterintuitive, but we're not afraid of competition. We invite all the banks to this channel, pursuing a very rational thought. We spoke about WeChat. Those of you who used WeChat, I used this WeChat, and this communication is so-so, and financial services are so-so. VK Messenger is our domestic platform. It can be the communication can be only given there by our bank. These services are really cool, as I think, and the Russian customers will benefit from the situation from this platform. And the second thing is, banks are always about safety and security. The more we have banks, the more we have safety and the more we have trust to our platform and interaction and everything offered to all the banks. When we join Alexander to join this platform. And thank you very much, Damir, thank you. I like a lot this environment, this collaborative environment, when we invite everyone to compete even stronger, so that customer experience would be even better. And I know that Elon Musk is not coming up with these names like X himself. He looked at you. We also have this first mover advantage, and we also have this fact that the majority in industry is a myth, and very often those of you who come there get solve the first problems, and very often close or change radically, take the business model. And those of you who want to tell about products, you were not the first who launched this banking messenger on the Russian market. We have speakers who was the first moders. We have speakers who were the first to risk in launching this very unique product. Mikhail, please tell us about this very easy experience. How does business feel? You've done this work, and can you please tell us about your experience? What were you able to do? What were you unable to do? And how things are going now? Good morning, everyone. Yes, we were the first one. We were not the first one. We were the first one to launch the fully functional bank, embedded bank in Telegram, and in 2016 we did it in Telegram. In 2017 we did it in Viber. By the end of 2013 we did it in Wiki, WhatsApp. So now this platform is not a banking messenger, it's a business messenger, and now we're working on another update taking into account the recent achievements in neural networks that allow us to come up with an incredible software as a platform software. And here, if we speak about numbers, then the bank serviced 1 million customers, and of them 350 self-employed people. Capitalization is reaching 2 billion rubles, and it was still a very good result from what we think. And in general, we have a very deep competency now of how to work in the best, in the strongest situation. When you have 1 million funds behind your back, when you work with your loyal audience, when in terms of ratio of ruble per customer, you are the most efficient. If we calculate the costs of all our colleagues who work in messengers, it's incomparable when we think of the number of the audience. And regarding the law of the messengers here, the thing is that most often it's interpreted in the wrong way. It's not forbidden to operate in foreign messengers, but there is regulations, there are conditions on how do you work with them. And we think on how bank lawyers work in this new field. We work everywhere. And regarding what I heard today from colleagues from Sberbank, these are the words that we've said in 2016, that this channel will be actively used, that there will be more communication, more contacts, and the story will continue to grow, especially since the appearance of ChatGPT. World started to actively switch to chats. And in general, when back there you have artificial intelligence applications, mobile applications, as outdated ways of input of information. What did we need this form factor for? And computer back then was not that smart. We need to tell how to fill everything in. And if back there we have the artificial intelligence that solves the task at the level of ChatGPT is doing it now, and these interface is just a not a needed third party. You know, the CEOs who have CFOs, you don't use the mobile applications for a CFO, and it does everything. And same thing happens with banking. Why traditional banks are not that efficient in bank messengers? Why? It's very simple, because we have the policy of making relevance of traffic. Traffic can shift from one mobile application to another. It goes through also any development of any product demands leadership, and in any case it's hard for one team to have 1 million leaders that does well in developing all the fields. You need to focus. And some of them we have advisory boards, and we do. Oh, they told me one good thing. They've analyzed some billionaires, and they came up with a rule for success. Everyone is different. Everyone is the focus from the point of view of communicating in channels. You still need to do a stake there. The stake is done there. The process is there. Most often, take a look at how the product works. They update it. They improve the client, but it doesn't tell us that messenger is and then mobile messengers are worse in any way. They are for the next generation in GPT format. We'll change it all. We already see how it all changes. And internally, we've changed a lot, taking into account the new implementations, and the platform of the bank was most ready for it. We're always based ourselves on the fact that neural networks are commodities, and the biggest companies will be doing them, but they will do it they will do it, and we need not to spend the money on neural networks. And what we need to spend money on the last mile, how do we use these neural networks in real life, what can be done, what needs to be done for it to have maximum impact. So we've built the platform so that we would be able to change neural networks. We would not be linked to some kind of solution, despite some other competitors that have integrated this a lot and do this hard code and the visualization of all these processes. And those of you who are embedded on their solutions, they are now lagging behind. And OpenAI and other companies in space, it's waste not to use their technologies. So that's why I think that this story will continue to develop even more actively, and so that it would be finite. We need for the solutions to be well funded. If we take Russian market in consideration, the right way to fintech, the funded fintech was the one right example was Tinkoff when there was 150 million USD. This was the one that outworked everyone, and those of you who get funding in this regards, they can really take our audience on themselves, and open banking stories and others allow to gather information in one spot from various banks and to create this very powerful assistant that really does well in covering the needs. So we are active, we haven't changed anything, we just expanded, we just grew. We now have 3 platforms: communication platform, robotized platform for the query answering platform. We answer up to 90%. Also we have fintech side. We also carry out IBS services to fintech, retail, and others. And the third platform is self-employed platform. And integrating all the solutions, we get a very interesting story where we are able to seamlessly register self-employed through messengers.
So it means we have created a special conveyor with a maximum conversion, and that's been done for a very long time together with our partners, and we have a lot of examples of that time. Therefore, we're moving on, and the colleagues have joined us here, and so therefore we feel much pleasure because our colleagues see what we're doing, they're copying us, and we're moving forward. Thank you very much, Mikhail. That's true that the best fintech is the fintech that was funded the best. So this is actually something that everybody would agree that in order to launch an interesting service, you have to fund it. Now, Anton, the question is to you. All the 3 speakers, when they started speaking about the messenger banking, the first word that was mentioned, it was a telegram. So probably this was done only by a mere accident, because today all banks, the 2 of them who are present and some of them are not present, all of them are, launched in your messenger. So is it just by accident, or was it your strategy, so that your messenger is the main platform for banks to launch their services? So this is the first question. And the second question is, where are you exactly in this regard? Because many technological companies today are launching their banks, their own banks, like Yandex has got its own bank, and yes, and even VK, the social media, it also has a special VK Pay banking. So are you planning to launch your bank and developing in that direction or not? And the most important question is probably, just after, as one of the colleagues has said, so we would really like to start using the platform, which is the most highly demanded. So what steps are you doing for VK to become the most highly demanded on the market? Yeah, thanks a lot. Hello to everyone. In the very beginning of the year, we did a special research, and 2/3 of Russians, as we have found out, they use in different formats different chatbots, and half of Russians, half of those users, so those are young people, like 14 to 18 years old. Those are the people who are in the near future are going to grow, who are going to become adult, and they're going to set up the trends and patterns for behavior with a business or interaction with a business. And our audience in social media, it's around 85% of the whole Russian net. In particular, it's a VK Messenger using our communication platforms, MAU is 68 million people, and out of that crowd, users are using well, like 500,000 of chatbots. And so with these data, it is quite logical that we're developing VK messengers not only in interaction with the users, but also for communication with businesses. And there was a question here from somebody, how we are going to fight with, against such big players if we just create our own banking. Of course, we are looking closely at the experience of foreign companies, such projects as our Talk, but there is a key difference. The thing is that they started when in their countries the banking was not developed yet, but in our country it was one of the most advanced, or probably the most advanced in the world. The banking services are the most advanced, and so therefore you don't need to build the banking from scratch. And so probably it's better if we join together, if we get together, and we would like to give our users the best experience of interaction with the businesses. Therefore, we're looking not only at the banking, but also at the logistics, at e-commerce, and we are looking for partners everywhere who can provide us with the expert knowledge and opinion so that we can continue growing and not losing time. And at the same time, what we can do something that banks don't have, in particular social media, social connections. And therefore, we are building a special platform which is remote for everyone, for users and for banks. But unlike the global players, we are ready to adjust according to the demands or needs of different business segments or banks, if it is interesting for our banks, and to provide some universal solutions. This is something that the global players cannot provide, but we are ready to work with that. We are ready to work with the local users, with some very specific segments of users. And so this is where we see our potential of growth, and this is how we're planning to go on developing, to provide the best services, in particular to those users who we have in our social network. And with this connection, we are absolutely happy, and we're very thankful to our large partners as PSB, Alfa-Bank, VTB. Those are the first ones who came to our platform, who launched their projects. We understand that the first comers, the pioneers, being a pioneer is very difficult. It is not very a good job, because everybody is going to say you are such a great bank, but at the same time you have to understand that this is extremely difficult because it consumes a lot of attention and a lot of resources, and we're thankful to our partners for having come, for developing the platform together with us. Now, what we think about the projects that we have already launched in the social media. Of course, we understand that the user will probably not just start up a mortgage in social media, in a messenger. Usually it's a format of banking when people, such as it was mentioned by the previous speakers, these are just only simple operations that we provide that are comfortable, that are convenient for the users without leaving the social media. Because they come to us, and we hope the partners are going to continue coming to us. We would like everybody to keep it in mind, and this is quite obvious, that our users, when they come to us, they come to consume the content and to talk to each other, to look at different videos, to send each other different, smileys, and to write letters, to write messages. And this means that there should also be the communication with the banks in a certain format, and those daily operations that they can do through our messengers, it should be like a logical sequence of that, behavior, when people, just can have a look at their account, when they can receive transaction notifications. We just last year mentioned that the service and notifications through our platform are for free, and this is very convenient. And I am a user of Alfa-Bank, and I receive notifications about the payments, about transactions through the messengers, and I got accustomed to that, and so I'm using only the messengers for that purpose. And through our chatbots, this provides onboarding to users. It provides support to users and basic operations, such as, for example, remittance of money and payment of some accounts. At the same time, as it was mentioned by Damir, the launch of the bank with red envelopes, it is very important for us, because this is our joint action, joint research that we did for social products. It's just not only, taking some operations from the financial sector into ours, but this is something which is very interesting. And maybe currently this is not very easy to do, not very convenient to do. Currently the remittance experience is quite strange. I mean, in particular, for example, I'm writing a message in WhatsApp to my mother, and she says, "Can you just transfer some money to me?" So I open an application and I send money to her. But then, if I have a friend whose telephone I may not have, then I have to ask what is their telephone. So what we can do, we can just provide a so-called red envelope that can facilitate this process. The red, just as it was mentioned by somebody was sending me that envelope, red envelope, but money didn't go up for some reason. Daily banking, and there is another good term, which is lifestyle banking, when we use not only financial operations but all other banking operations. With this respect, like loyalty programs, different cashbacks, some indirect opportunities. These are the things that are provided by our banks, and we have, very cool ecosystems. When you get a large number of businesses get united that are interconnected through the programs of loyalty, and we can see that the happiest messages from the user to the bank is that they may have, a cashback up to 20,000 rubles or 20,000, bonuses, and the users, they like it a lot. And this way we provide our users and the banks to provide the transactions to our clients and to involve the clients more and more into banking system. Now, speaking about our further development, there we have a good understanding that for the banks to come to us, we have to answer the question why banks need to come to us. What exactly does it provide to the banks? What we can see that our platform can be used for building effective tools for involvement into the communication of our users, so that they potentially become clients of the bank. We can help them to interact with those segments with where the communication was broken. For example, as it was with iOS pushes or iStores, when people are not able to get, when people cannot get the application through the iStore. So we can provide, notifications through our messenger. We can work with their segments where the communication is not so good. For example, they don't like communicating through other areas we can just involve them through the programs of cashback. If those are students, we can say, for example, we can provide them a super high cashback to some cafeterias where they're going to buy that food. And that all depends on the communications, and it also depends on the saving on SMS, because we provide messages for free. And it's great that, the partners are inviting us to continue in developing. We're waiting for them, and we take everything as something like a startup which is being developed in our holding. And we need to provide research for that. We need to provide the best experience to our users and to help our partners to interact. Thank you, Anton, and thank you, Alexander. I'd like to add a few words. As for the loans and the complex products, now because 70% of loans are done only by just pressing a button, and they became very simple. Then in the messenger we can just involve loans as well without any special fees. It's going to be there. It's a complicated product that is going to be placed through the messenger. Yeah, so here please give him a round of applause. Yeah, it's just like a comprehensive or complex product in WhatsApp, and back in the future we implemented a special insurance of life, and bankers, they know that this is a complicated thing. Up to 85% of all transactions were done without any operator. The record, it was a purchase of 120,000 rubles, and it was a very complicated operation that involved different services, courier services, payment of policies, etc. And they were able to do everything through WhatsApp without contacting an operator. And the partner offline didn't have any sale of this product in offline, but they were able to do it online. Even some complicated products can be sold very easily through online if everything is done intelligently. And in WhatsApp, you don't need to make a copy of a mobile application. You just need to simplify the interaction. Yeah, making things intelligently, this is a great conclusion. Thank you very much, Mikhail. Yeah, just do it in a normal way and everything is going to be fine. Yeah, do it the way you should do it. And don't do it the way you shouldn't do it. As it was said in one of the cartoons. I like one of the business cases when, as you said, just somebody forgot that they may have a cashback of 20,000 rubles. I wonder if there are many people who have that much money, but probably in this panel we have other people who have a different look and back messengers and they can see a different way. This Sberbank, it also has its own paths, own ways in many services. Sber was one of the first banks in Russia which recognized the importance of the ecosystems of a business model. And probably nobody has as many users as this Sber does in Russia, and maybe in the world there aren't that many banks that may have that many mobile users. And you started even a messenger inside the mobile banks. I don't know if many people can use many people use, but can you tell us, you as a Sber company, how do you see it? Because you are not among the many who have a resource to build your own models and to launch your own artificial intelligence. So what do you think about it? The messengers in the banking application, this is something that we did. And as colleagues said, you can have correspondence through normal messengers. They do it through the messenger. We decided to make it the opposite. That is to say, they do the messaging inside the banking application. Then they write each other like, you received the money? Yes, I did. You didn't receive? I didn't, etc. This is a service that has existed for 4 years, and the audience of people, the number of people who started writing messages inside the banking, it went over 12 million people, because we started putting recommendations on the main screen for the people who started, sending money. And there is a small model, there is a small application which calculates whether a client needs this recommendation, and the number of such people is growing. In spite of that, the bank has, inside the application, has a possibility to do the classical transfer when you take an address book and then you send money to the person. But we believe that implementing a messenger inside the banking application, this is a more convenient way of transferring money, because this way you can see the whole history of money relations between people. You can repeat payments, you can provide money, you can lend money or ask money, to borrow money, just and do it through the banking messenger. Why don't we use the outside messenger? Because the previous speaker said this is a risk of cannibalization of the major application through the text format outside, because people go on going inside the application, our application, and although just if you, for example, see the ratio of people who use MAO in iOS, they go on doing it, but in our case, so people, just when they enter the application, this is an opportunity for us to contact with the audience. We provide them with advertisements, we just maintain their communication, help them to have closer relations, and there is an integration with the e-commerce, which is also inside the banking application. For us, this is an opportunity, maybe not to involve the client, but to provide the opportunity to the customer to see other opportunities without losing contact with them. Yeah, I remember there were some Eurosceptics, but in this beer company, in addition, you have a banking application, a messenger inside the banking application. But there are also assistants which are built into the chat as a chat of support. You also have great achievements in that. Can you tell us about the assistants? What was done and what are the next plans? Yeah, the navigation in the banking, it looks like an apartment because it's got an assistant living there, and who can, and this virtual assistant can provide a lot of information. Just recently, we made it, we merged it with a chatbot, and virtual assistant is responsible for everything that chatbot is responsible for some basic questions of what is happening to the client with the transactions. If the virtual assistant is not able to deal with a question, then you can switch to a human operator. In addition to this virtual assistant service, who provides different answers to questions that a client may have during interaction with the bank. So in addition to that, one of the most popular services is just only to talk. A conversation about weather, about nature, etc. So it means that people come to your bank before they went for banking, now they come just to chat, right? Just like, who would ever think that people would buy, for example, food for a cat through a banking service? But it does work. Who would talk about weather in the banking service? Well, there are people who use it. So in addition to this service of just having a chat, having a conversation, the virtual assistant also provides with more opportunities than the standard graphical interface, because in any banking service there is a service for analysis of your finances, where you can just have a look at the different expenses in different periods. So when you do it with the assistant, it's more flexible. You can tell this assistant, can you show me what I spent for the 4 months for taxi or for cafe? These are the very complicated requests of the queries that you cannot do it through the standard interface. Also, there is a group of users who use their voice to transfer money. It seems like it's not some standard operation, but there are people who like talking, like they say, "Salute, please send my mother such and such amount of money," and so people like it a lot. Yeah, buying food for cats, cat food in the banking application. That's an interesting use case. So thank you very much, Ksenia, for your comment. Now, Vasily, the question is to you. You are one of the largest IT vendors. On the one hand, and you are probably feeling very well, especially currently when there is so much import substitution, and many banks, they need additional IT resources on the one hand. On the other hand, the large banks, they created such a great big development teams. So what is the role of IT vendors is an open question. Now, can you tell us what products are in high demand? How are you feeling in the market? And the question is about messengers. Is it possible to have a set of different services and products that would provide the work for a messenger in the bank? Can it become some kind of a new product, which is going to be a new point of growth for you as an IT vendor? Good day, dear colleagues. Let me just start with the last question first. We see the growth and the demand for alternative channels of service. That's for sure. If 30 years ago, when we founded the company and the people went to the banks, the remote banking system, and they said, why do you do it if you can go to a branch or to the office of the bank, and then you can just receive your service? But currently, remote banking is the first channel for servicing in the bank. If 5 years ago, a contact center, it was a cost in a bank, so today it's a profit-generating element. So today, operators are replaced with chatbots, especially with a chat GDP. Now, the call center is going to become a digital call center, that's for sure. We can see what kind of changes are happening in the service. Right now, the colleagues were saying that, just building a messenger into the bot, but you cannot, just replace VK with the bank, because if a client is sitting in VK in the social media, then it is easier for them to do the banking operation through the social media. But it's not possible to do it. It's not possible to make a social media in a banking application. It's just another channel for communication. You're always seeing in your telephone, you're reading the news, and you're paying through the channel that is good for you. Just in the beginning of this year, we had this workshop with VK social media. There were a lot of questions that were discussed with respect of the security of payments, but this has already been resolved. And the demand for the next 5 years is going to grow. The demand for payment through omni-channel services. As for the competition, there is competition. Indeed, competition is there, especially for the resources, because many banks have big IT departments. Some of the banks even have whole IT companies. But let us look. The competition, what should it look like? The competition, it should be profitable for the end user and for the consumer above all. Many banks, they provide their own products, their own teams. The question, why do they do that? You need to make a product only it is something unique. But if there is a similar product then in the market, take a team of 30 developers. One product is being developed for 3 years, and it requires like $500 million of investments. Plus, you have to develop the product and make it competitive on the market. So this is a rhetoric question. Competition is there, but it is there for the human resources. And when you're selecting developing, or either to develop a product or to buy a product, this is a very difficult question. If it is a unique pure product, then of course you can make it yourself. But if the product which is already finished and which has good functions, and it's popular on the market, don't reinvent a bicycle. Like when we were making a platform, omni-channel platform a few years ago, we were thinking about these questions, and we eliminated these risks. We eliminated these risks by creating a platform which enables you to have very flexible integration possibilities, which enables you to join all the channels for communication, whether it's a chat or a messenger or a voice chat, whether it's intelligent devices. Like we have a chat bot that can be used to make payments with your voice. Well, in the future, people are going to be sitting on the sofa, and then artificial intelligence is going to provide some standard payments instead of you. You won't even need an application for that. That's in the future. But we are coming to the market with a platform which has very flexible integration abilities. It has lots of functions, and we understand that all banks they build departments for data science, and then they make their own models. We made a special platform where these models could be built into our platform, and we're trying to be able to use the bank which banks provide. And we shouldn't forget, when a platform is being built, it should be able to handle a big workload and use as little resources as possible. For example, our model, they work on special CPOs in order to reduce the costs of the banks. So this is a comprehensive approach. And if you look from above at the whole history of development, it requires huge investments. Besides, we created a special team which enables banks who are clients to change the service processes. This is a special team which has business expertise. Like, why does an IT company need a business expertise? Because, a platform which is developed is good. Bank is developing their own scenarios for communication without coding. What do you do next? Next, you need to look for insights and build processes. So here the answer is both yes and no. Large players who have IT budgets, who can spend those budgets in spite of economic efficiency, they do it themselves, of course. Other players, they prefer to select a platform to implement it within 6 months rather than 3 years and get business profits very fast. Thank you very much. Thank you. I can see that we no longer have much time, and I have a short survey for the participants of the round table. Now, actually, after we have discussed that banks and messengers, and is this something? Is it something luxury, or is it a must-have thing? In my opinion, because the audience has moved to messengers where they can communicate with each other, so it's going to become a must-have thing for all of us. We only need to wait for that, and it's going to happen for sure. I showed you with the figures that this is not a luxury thing. This is a tool. Maybe it's a tool for operations. And we believe that the hybrid approach will win. Just the client will go wherever it's more convenient for them. What we need to do, we need to provide convenience, we need to do it fast and provide a good emotional experience. Yes, so Sberbank Online is providing all of those things. It's clear. It's of course a must-have thing. Just be friends with us. Everything is going to be cheaper and faster, and all voice messages are going to be processed much better. And plus, there are special assistants which are more advanced for involving the clients better and better. Anton, what do you think? We believe that in the near future it's going to become a must-have thing, but currently we're inviting you for an R&D and try and see how a bank can look like in messengers. It's going to be in high demand in the next few years, 3 or 5 years. But let me tell it to you instead of you. You know, I'm inviting the colleagues to this booth of FSB and look at the different skills of the chatbot and see how it works. Yeah, because usually we do it through QR codes, but now let us do it in an old way. Please raise your hand who believe that this is must-have, and who believes that this is just a nice-to-have thing rather than must-have. Okay, not many people, but you have, you have told me. Now, thank you, dear participants. Thank you, dear spectators. Thank you very much. That was a very productive talk. I'd like to invite you to our booth. There we have so-called the Wheel of Fortune that you can turn to get better cashback. We'll come to you if you send us a red envelope and it becomes 2 times bigger. Thank you very much, and I wish you a good day. Bye-bye.